The summary of this 35-page report basically says it was lack of experience and communication on FHP's part that ultimately led to the fatal accidents on the interstate. And if you follow the trail of blood all the way to this stop sign, you can see remnants of where the man nearly bled out. Firefighting crews are taking a small break as the investigation begins to find out what caused the fire. For $5, customers are treated to a solution from the bug-off buggy, which, as you can see, will help deal with some of the mess some of these pesky bugs leave behind. Here at GHS, 20 surveillance cameras like the one filming me now are one of the many tools resource officers use to protect students in case of emergencies. Justin Soto, one of the Summerfield Six, has just pled guilty in his role in the murder of Seth Jackson. While it may not be an ideal place to tee off, it's certainly an activity you could do with water levels so low out here on the river. I'm George Solis. Coming up, the story of a hero who put himself in harm's way to make sure the lives of 2 others were spared. These charred pizza slices are about the only thing on the menu today at Satchel's, so for those die-hard fans really jonesing for a slice, bon appetit.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you.
The Proclaimers once sang they would walk 500 miles, then 500 more to fall down at a door. Alan Barker and Hugh Mason are walking 1,400 miles for something much more.
The average child in third world countries like Ethiopia and Africa and Haiti, they walk about 1,400 miles every year to get water.
So to raise awareness, the two are walking that same distance in 56 days, a journey that will take them through 8 states, all to raise awareness for a need that many in this land of plenty don't see.
There's people in this world that really need fresh water so that they can live life, and not miss out on education, not miss out on being a kid.
The duo is walking about 30 miles a day in support of their nonprofit Lighting the Dark, a charity they started in 2009 with a vision to bring sustainable and fresh drinking water to developing countries. Barker and Mason say support on their trek has been more than uplifting. Apart from free food and shelter, they've also been receiving cash donations, all in support of their good cause. Today's freebies included sandwiches from Subway and a large pizza from Domino's.
It seemed like a good cause, and you need nutrition for that long walk. So, a good cause, we just donated the pizza, it's not a problem.
But for these guys, it's not about the perks, it's about changing lives.
I tell myself, man, kids do this every day, carrying 50 pounds, and sometimes they start at 6 years old, so.
And taking a walk in other people's shoes. George Solis, GTN News, working for you. It's an emotional reunion that this proud father feared wouldn't come soon enough.
Yep. She's my baby.
Timothy Cash raced to the scene as he got the call from his daughter.
I love you too.
A teller at this Bank of America off of Newberry Road moments after it was robbed at gunpoint.
I was very upset and concerned because she was so upset, and you could tell it in her voice. 2 men entered the bank, one investigators say carrying a shotgun, the other possibly a handgun. Surveillance images show that man wearing a camouflage face cover, sunglasses, a straw hat, and a long-sleeve plaid shirt.
They demanded money, left with an undisclosed amount of money, and fled westbound here on Newberry Road.
Deputies say they abandoned the getaway car at a nearby church. They also think the robbers stole the van from Shan's parking lot. Behind me is the vehicle sheriff's investigators say may have been used and left behind in the robbery. Detectives will be looking over the van for more clues like fingerprints. Investigators believe a second car was used, but no description has been given on that car yet. Back at the bank, after witnesses were let out after a traumatic morning, emotional reunions like the Cashes became a standard. George Solis, GTN News, working for you. For the family of Austin Osteen, these photos show a timeline of a young man gone too soon.
When I miss him too much, I'll think about the good times we had.
The 12-year-old died in what investigators are calling an accidental shooting while out hunting with his grandfather. Larry could barely find the words to describe his grandson.
Maybe you're straight.
He says he has no idea how Austin ended up shooting himself.
He wanted to go sit in a tree stand, and I'd carry him down there, and I'd leave him for an hour and a half, and go back and get him, and come back, and he was laying on the ground, and he'd shot himself.
The shooting is still under investigation by the Dixie County Sheriff's Office and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, but officials say no foul play is suspected, a theory Austin's dad and stepmom accept. They say their son was no stranger to gun safety.
He grew up in them woods.
But it doesn't make things any easier.
He was a good youngin'.
At school, officials say several grief counselors were on hand for students needing a place to heal.
A lot of the kids in his class are very distraught and upset, and Austin was very well liked and respected.
School board officials say gun safety is a top priority in rural communities and do have gun safety programs in place to teach students to prevent tragedies like this one from happening. George Solis, GTN News, working for you. It's the most wonderful time of the year for car wash businesses in Florida. There are lines as far as the eye can see.
This seems like the worst it's ever been.
And workers here say it'll stay this way for at least 4 weeks.
Oh yeah, especially in bug season.
Love bug season to be exact, and they are decking your cars with less than favorable decor.
See all these little white ones? All those that have turned white like that have been on the paint too long.
Drivers in Gainesville say this love bug season is one of the worst they've seen on the roads.
Oh, it's horrible right now. I was on I-75 yesterday and it's like clouds of bugs.
Many are turning to car washes like Park Place to help them get their rides back in shape. We were there to help.
For $5, customers are treated to a solution from the Bug Off buggy, which, as you can see, will help deal with some of the mess some of these pesky bugs leave behind.
I was moving a little slow for the amount of cars waiting to be served, so Brandon Fouts explained how the 3-step process works.
When you first come in, it's going to get here. It's going to get the first step with Bug Off. We spray it on your car, let it sit, helps eat through the bugs, give it about 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and spray it on here. And what this does is it just sort of loosens up the fatty acid in the bugs. The next step with the brush is the same product, just adding on more. Brush is going to help loosen up what's not actually in the clear coat, and if you leave them on long enough, which is usually about 24 to 48 hours, it can actually eat through the paint, which leaves permanent damage. When they come up here, what we'll do is we'll scrub them down and pressure wash them one last time.
Park Place staff say they'll see a number of these cars multiple times through the season, which lasts till September, which they love, but man does it bug drivers. George Solis,
it's going to eat your paint up.
GTN News, working for you.